Once again, welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. And of course, we are going to amazingly present you to a lovely young lady who is also just happens to be the wife of Mr. Chuck. I tell you, this gets me excited. Chuck Worthy, thank you, ma'am. And of course, we want to introduce to you and present to others this amazing young lady. And of course, her name is Linda. And good afternoon, Linda. How you doing?
I am doing great. When I heard about this from Chuck, I thought, oh, wow, this is like kind of like a highlight. So
Ah,
it's wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on.
And you know what? I hear that, but I want to say this. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be here. I truly, truly appreciate you. I appreciate your husband. And I want to thank you publicly and personally for accepting the invitation to be a part of our broadcast network family as one of our featured authors. No further ado, Linda. Step up to the plate, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, tell us where you're from. Who is Linda Worthy?
Well, we'll start a little bit personal here. I'm from the area that I grew up on. I live on the area which has been in the family for about 100 years, where my grandparents settled many decades ago, almost 100 years. And I love living here. We have 2 acres, and our dog loves it because it's new territory for her every day because we've planted like over 250 trees. It already had a lot of trees, but we planted some more, and she's got lots of places to play. And she's kind of my baby.
Nah.
Sorry, but she is. No, but yeah, got her from the Humane Society. But I used to be a former senior software developer at Boeing, Microsoft, Department of Education, Department of the Portland government, it includes like 7 different counties, Department of Education, and the Department of the Army.
Mm.
And everything was going so great in my life. And then this, I didn't know this for many, many years, actually. And Satan got permission from God. I was on this mountaintop because Chuck and I had our big music ministry. It was the largest in the Northwest, called Worthy Music Ministries. And we did everything, everywhere, TV, radio, stuff at Seattle Center. I mean, you name it, we were there.
Yeah.
And then I needed a sinus surgery. And I'd had 2 other sinus surgeries, so no problem, right? So, and I never have named his name, and I never will,
Uh
because
huh.
I have forgiven him. But he was the one that the Microsoft millionaires and their wives go to, private clinic type of thing. So I thought I was getting the best. But what happened is that he left a bone fragment, and I found out from the pathology report because I demanded a post-op CAT scan, and the pathology report said he left yeah, because it's bilateral. He left a bone the size of a pencil eraser behind my left eye.
Wow.
And and I kept visiting him, and he'd say, everything's marvelous, marvelous. He's German. And I knew it wasn't because my face was flaming. It was hot and infected. And finally, I couldn't function anymore. And I said, look, I must have a post-op CAT scan.
Mm.
So I did, and that's what the results were. So by the time we found out, and by the time he scheduled surgery, about 11 weeks had passed. And during that 11 weeks, it was a busy little bee happening in my brain. And I ended up losing more than 30 IQ points because I had been Mensa. And so it brought me back down to I'm still above average. Um, but I lost my ability to work because all the logic was just drained from my brain. I felt it go. It was just I cried a lot over that one. But God had a plan because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know until 12 years and 4 months later. And I had gone through all these things that are covered in the book, and you wouldn't believe them, except everything I say in that book is medically documented by either the fire department, the ER, the hospital, stranger eyewitnesses, my own family, and I would go unaware for sometimes up to 3 weeks, and I still have that brain damage that causes me to go unaware. I could say, "Oh, where's Nova, the dog?" And Chuck would say, "You just let her out." And I said, "No, I didn't." And I'd open the door and there she'd be.
Mm-hmm.
So I continue to have these. These are a nice little souvenir for the rest of my life. But one week, Chuck was traveling on his job with Hewlett Packard Enterprises. And he was traveling, and it was like mid-June of 2023. And God woke me up. I've heard his voice twice before, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But few people have had the blessing of hearing God's voice. And I did 3 times so far, because the miracles do keep coming. They're not in all the books, but what you're looking at there on the screen is it's my second edition book. And so it's been published in Spanish and in Tagalog, as well as English.
Wow.
So it's found on Amazon, but best place to buy it is to go to City of Books, which is CITI of books.com. And it's the best place to buy it. And they have that, and it's hardcover only. But you can go to Amazon and get a little cheaper for, if you just want an EPUB, you can get one on Amazon for $2.99, $2.99. So depending on your budget, you know. So I'm so excited to be here. And one of the things, and I typed this out because one of the things that happened was I lost a lot of my memory. So if it's not written down, I'm probably not going to remember it. And so I'm just going to read you my elevator pitch. And for those who don't know what an elevator pitch is, it's like if you're fortunate enough to be on an elevator talking to a literacy agent, what would you say in that minute or so that you had? So this is my elevator pitch. Over 10 years in the making, her unique book of documented experiences and God's many miracles is done. The once-in-a-lifetime story of a woman yanked back from the grips of death time after time, free-falling into the maw of certain or actual death, only to be saved by God's hand just in time. These unique and amazing miracles, heavily documented by medical, hospital, police, EMT, family, and stranger eyewitnesses, reports show God's timely intervention and will change your life forever. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from selling my books online, and the feedback has been amazing. It's just amazing to read the feedback. And we all know that people will order a book, read it, but very few come back to actually leave an impression of the book or whatever of the book. So, but God has been behind all this success. Excuse me. And one of the things that really shook me up was because of all the emergency intubations to keep me alive, they in the process destroyed my vocal cords. And Chuck and I mean, we used to do, well, he can still sing, but it took away all my ability to sing, and it just left me in tears. And I remember that one night, mid-June 2023, when God woke me up and he said one word to me, but I know his voice. And the Bible tells us his sheep know his voice. And he said one word. He said, dance. I was 67 years old and going on 70 now. But God has, I remember talking and I felt that it was the Holy Spirit. Well, they're all 3 in 1. God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So, but I felt that the Holy Spirit was kind of comparing me, not in the same way, but comparing me to Sarah in the Old Testament, and about how she needed to have faith and all the things that happened because she did not have faith. But we still have the Israelites, and I'm not going to get into that. Christians already know that story, or you can look it up in the Bible. Um, but I said, I can't dance. I've never been able to dance, ever. You know, no school dances, nothing. I didn't even want to dance. But I felt at that time that the Holy Spirit made a covenant with me. He says, because I can't memorize, I still can't memorize. Um, he said, you do your part and I will guide your steps. And my part is stepping out in faith to dance. And if I were to dance 5 songs at 5 different rehearsals or performances, they'd all be uh, they'd all they'd all be different because he gave me what I call a miracle interpretive dance. And so his miracles continue to go on and on. No matter how many dances I do, they're all different. And that's because I don't have moves that I can't memorize. So I go out there and I practice at home, but I go out and I take weekly dance lessons. And it's usually to record my dances that go on, like my YouTube channel at Miracles and Dance. That's my YouTube channel. You can also see more about my story and stuff of me dancing and some excerpts from some of the chapters. You can find that at Miracles and Dance on YouTube, or you can go to my website, which is www.lindadianeworthy.com. And there's a ton of stuff on there.
Yeah.
So, did you have any questions for me?
Well, if I had any questions for you, I am more than honored. That is one of the reasons I allowed you to speak freely. Because
Thank you.
I wanted people to hear from you. I wanted them to hear your story. I wanted them to hear,
Mm-hmm.
and you covered the things that I would have suggested. So, with that being said, you know what, I am so honored to hear your story, and we're going to continue to follow up with you. We're going to continue to research and allow people to embrace what you have available, what you have placed in your publication. We want them to be able to reach out to you. We want them to be able to show their support, purchase a copy, visit your website, visit your YouTube channel. And of course, we want them to click on the copy of the current publication that I'm currently showing you on our screen, Free Falling, God's Angel by My Side. Click on that cover. It will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and details about the author as well as the publication. And of course, we want you to be sure to go back and, leave a review. Let people know what you think and how you feel. And before I let you go, Linda, of course, if someone wanted to reach out and contact you on a more individual basis and maybe hear more of your story, what is the process? I mean, how is it that you can be reached?
Oh, sure. My email address is miracles and dance, all one word, at gmail.com.
You know, I know that some of our viewers and listeners, I know their eyeliner broke, their crayon broke, their pencil lead broke, their ink, their pen ran out of ink, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
they had to run and get something else. So if you don't mind, can you repeat that for me one more time?
Sure. My Gmail address is, or email address is miracles and dance, all one word, at gmail.com.
MiraclesandDance at gmail.com. And of course, we want you all to be sure to show your love, care, concern, and support. Purchase a
Thank
copy
you.
of the publication. Share it with all of your followers, your family, and your friends. Be sure to go
Thank
back
you.
and leave a review. Let the world know what you think, how you feel, maybe some suggestions or even recommendations for Linda. And of course, I want to
Absolutely.
guarantee you all we're going to be inviting her back as well as her husband to find out more information about what's taking place now and in the future. Linda, I just want to take time out to thank you for your time and thank you for accepting the invitation to be a part of our family as one of our
Mm,
featured
thank
authors.
you.
And of course, I want to wish you, as well as your husband, Chuck, the best. And we're going to continue to do everything we can to assist you in any way,
You.
shape, form, or fashion. If there's anything we can do, you pick up the phone, you let us know, and we're going to guarantee you that the answer will always be yes, and you'll never have to ask us twice, okay?
Oh, absolutely. That's very, very generous of you. And I heard you talking with Chuck earlier this morning, and some of the things you've got planned are really, really amazing things. And I'm
Thank you.
so excited. And what's great about Chuck, we used to have the big music ministry, but God has changed it, and it was in February of 2024 to kind of end it all. The Holy Spirit said, God put you, and it took me until I was 69 years old or 68 to tell me why I born. A lot of us ask,
Yeah,
why was
yeah,
I born?
yeah.
He said, you were put on this earth to dance for the glory of God.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say this to you as well as Chuck. I always let my individuals in the congregation know your destiny was determined before your
Yes,
delivery. I'm going to say it
I
again.
know that.
Your destiny
I
was
know it.
determined before your delivery, and all you have to do is embrace the process. And the process is never easy. Look at the process
Ooh,
that Jesus went through when he walked the face of this
oh my
earth.
God.
They talked about him, they spit on him, they lied on him, they ripped the skin from his body. But the process had to be embraced because the songwriter
Yes,
said, that's not how the story ends. And by the
that's
grace of
right.
God, on that third day, he rose. And I tell you, we can go on, but your destiny
Yeah.
was determined before your delivery. Linda, you have a wonderful afternoon. We love you.
Oh, thank you
We
so much.
appreciate you. And we look forward to talking with you again soon, okay?
Okay, thank you so very much. This has been such an honor. Thank
The
you.
honor and the pleasure is all mine. Linda Worthy, one of our featured authors, right here on the number one station in the nation, GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. Stay close. We got more great stuff on the way. Be blessed and be a
Can't
blessing.
wait.
We'll be back right after this, right here on the show.
Free falling. My eyes widened as I found myself free falling from the air about 100 feet down. I could feel God's angels on either side of me, gently guiding me to the left. What happened? I landed in the former septic perk hole that over 100 years had morphed into a grave. Ouch! Felt my back break in the lumbar and thoracic areas. Tried hard to see where I was. Panicking, realized I was in the 40 acres of timberland with quicksand, areas where you take one wrong step and you are dead. The deadly forest. Couldn't stand but for about 5 seconds, then fell down, glasses flying. Help! Help! Oh no! How would I get out? No way out. No one would find me. A forest filled with deadly animals, bears, cougars, deer, and others. I had no way out. No cell phone, no way to call for help. I couldn't walk. Only God knows how he got me out of the 5-foot deep grave I was captured in. I prepared I would starve to death because no one would find me. Before losing consciousness again, I cried out, God, I want to live. Suddenly, I became aware again. 5 minutes. Tried to swim, but found out later tide runs backwards in that cove. Tide coming in quickly. Hot summer day. No one was around for many, many feet, perhaps 1,000 feet. Unaware, I cried for help.
Help! Help!